Welcome back to the program. Let's go live to the Liberal MP, the member for Casey, Aaron Violi. Aaron, thanks. As always, we've seen the terror threat level increase. The Prime Minister talking about the need to be careful with our words in terms of political leaders. They said to be aware but not frightened was the message. How much does this come down to the types of language, the types of protests we're seeing, like at many MPs' electorate offices where protesters have been for weeks? They've vandalised buildings, they've used Hamas flags and other signs of support for that terrorist group as well. What's your overall read on this? Does the government, do agencies need to be tougher on some of the protesters we're seeing to dial things down?
Yeah, thank you for having me again, Kieran. It's deeply concerning. It's deeply concerning as an elected official and also as a member of the community. And we've seen, as you rightly point out, that increased activity. Even that protest at Parliament House, there was the red triangle as part of that, and it's been shown to me that's known as a target sign for Hamas and other terrorist organisations, and that in itself can be interpreted as a direct threat potentially to members of Parliament and senators. And we do need to be very conscious. I am. It's great in our democracy. I was out all weekend at community events, was out this morning at community events, and we need to be able to safely engage with our community. But I think we're all concerned on a personal level. We're family members, we're husbands, we're wives, we're parents, we're children. We've got other people involved in our lives as well, and trying to strike that balance is something we strive to do while always being available for the community. So to see this increase to probable is something we all need to be aware of. And tone matters, conversation matters. Some of the economic challenges we face are leading to this as well. Obviously, the unrest in the Middle East and economic challenges, as I said, but also some of the flow over from COVID and challenges through that time. So there's a lot of factors that we all need to be aware of moving forward for sure.
Your colleague Andrew Hastie said on Sky News that he's worried about the level of security checks for some of those leaving Gaza. And I'll quote what he said. He said, "I don't think that's sufficient time for proper security and identity vetting, particularly for people coming out of a war zone." Is that a worry to you as well, given the heightened tone of this debate that we're talking about with ASIO lifting that threat level today?
At a broad principles level, and we need to, as an Australian government and as a country, need to ensure that everyone that's coming to the country is vetted and that it's safe for our country. And obviously coming out of a war zone, any war zone, but the Middle East and Gaza, as you referenced, it's harder to do those checks. There's no, diplomatic outposts. There's no proper process to follow like you would if you were coming from Europe or the US, as an example. So we need to make sure that people that are coming to Australia, we've done those vetting processes. I know when Afghanistan, the fall of Kabul in Afghanistan, many had to go to a third country like the UAE and things like that to get vetted before they could come to Australia. So the government has to ensure that all Australians are safe and that we are following those processes. They're processes that cannot be rushed. So we need to balance being humane, showing our humanity to bring people in that need support, but ensuring the safety of all Australians. And if that's a rush process, as Andrew Hastie said, it does lead to potential risks for the country.
And we've only got about a minute left, but on the election cycle as well, it's important that our democracies are allowed to flourish with views across the spectrum expressed but peacefully.
Yeah, correct. We need to have a diversity of views. It's the strength of our country. Everyone should be able to prosecute a case politically for what they believe in, but it needs to be respectful. It needs to be within the law. It can't turn violent. And so when we see those attacks on members of Parliament's offices, we see disturbing reports of members of Parliament out in a social setting with friends and family having a meal or having a drink at a hotel being harassed, and I guess flash mobs essentially surrounding them and causing issues. That is deeply concerning for democracy, because to finish on this point, Kieran, I know we've got time, but we need to be available to engage with the community, to hear what's important to them so we can be their voice in Canberra. But we need to be safe when we're doing that, and that's the balance we need to strike. We need to always be respectful, but in a safe manner.
Aaron Violi, thanks as always. We'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it.
Talk soon. Thanks, Kieran.